Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever episode of Silver Reads, a series where I read cool fanfictions and other cool stories I found on the internet for your entertainment, and so I don't have to edit Minecraft videos all the time, cause my sanity can't handle that shit. Today we'll be reading Jason Todd's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Week by slenderboo on Archive of Our Own. If you want to read through the story with me, there's a link in the description. Please check out the author, as they are very cool. Thank you to slenderboo for letting me do this. Go check out their stories. Good stuff. Yes. Anyway, grab a hot cocoa, some snacks, an energy drink if you're watching this in the middle of the night, and lean back and relax as I read Jason Todd's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Week. Chapter 1. Jason Todd's Bad Luck. The Warehouse. Jason Todd, former Robin and current Red Hood, murderer turned vigilante, never claimed to be very lucky. Clearly he wasn't, seeing as his life was pretty much a never-ending shit show of fear and death and pain that had only recently evened out into something mildly tolerable. Even if his siblings were annoying sometimes, he'd been getting along with them really well lately. His relationship with Bruce was still slow going, but they were repairing it bit by bit. At the very least, the Bat trusted Jason, hence why the Big Bat had sent him out on a week-long infiltration mission up in the Narrows, which led Red Hood down a rabbit hole of gun trafficking, gangs, money laundering, and finally to the warehouses he was in now. Very lucky indeed. It seemed almost too easy in some ways, a perfect opportunity to take down one of Scarecrow's toxin suppliers, if Oracle's intel was good. It was supposed to be easy. So why the hell was Superman here? Red Hood. Superman's voice was strong despite the pounding sound of rain against the warehouse roof, making Hood feel impossibly tiny in comparison to the Man of Steel. He touched down onto the corrugated metal across the roof. His gaze was pointed, eyes seeming almost more grey than blue between sheets of pouring rain. A little far from Smallville, aren't we, Supes? Hood couldn't help but roll his eyes under his mask. I'm guessing Batsy doesn't know you're here. This place is his problem, not yours. He thumbed the distress beacon in his jacket pocket. Was Superman appearing in Gotham enough of an emergency to call him back up? Your trafficking ring is influencing Metropolis, which makes it my problem, Superman responded. I'll be taking you in to be interrogated, but rest assured, you'll be ending up in Arkham by the end of the week. Hood couldn't help the small stir of irritation in his gut, green creeping up the edges of his vision. Fuck the distress beacon. He could deal with this without his siblings. Highly doubt that, he quipped. Where's Batman? This'll all go a lot faster if we skip past the arresting me part and just call him here directly. Superman just scowled, a twinge of irritation entering his voice. Batman is off-world at the moment. The Justice League is keeping an eye on Gotham in his absence. Shit. Sounds like bullshit, Hood shot back after a second, cursing the sudden waver in his voice. I don't doubt he's off-world, but letting you in here? The only medic allowed in Gotham is Signal. And the Bat isn't one to change his mind about this kind of stuff. Well, he was one to change his mind about the rule, but only when it involved one of his kids. You're stalling. Superman really sounded annoyed now. A bit of Clark Kent bled into his voice, and suddenly Hood was grateful that Tim made him research all the League members on his own time. I'm taking you in. Time to go then. There was no way in hell he could beat Superman in a fight or outrun him head on, but Hood knew Gotham like the back of his hand. Getting to one of his safe houses should be a piece of cake. Good luck with that, Supes. With a haunting laugh that would have made Dick proud, Hood let himself tip off the warehouse, just barely hearing Superman yell before the whistling wind overtook his senses. He rolled as he hit the fire escape below, already sending off his grapple down the alleyway. It latched onto a brick wall, and with a tug he was off. Wham! Hood felt something hit his side midair, sending him flying into the metal warehouse walls. His ribs felt like they were on fire, but he still managed to claw himself into a sitting position before a figure pressed him back down with a boot to his chest. He felt his ribs shift, barely suppressing a yell as his vision went white with pain. "I have him, Superman!" A woman's voice, who had immediately identified as Wonder Woman, said from above him. "Stay down, Hood." He tried to reach for the distress beacon, but he already felt himself blacking out on the dingy alleyway floor. God, this was going to be a long week. At the Manor. It was late at night on a Tuesday, and Dick Grayson was pacing in the Manor living room. Jason was reckless at the best of times and downright suicidal at the worst, but he wasn't stupid. Usually. Dick was really questioning that at this point. "Big Bird, at this rate you're going to wear a hole in the carpet. Jason's fine," Tim told him from an armchair. A long-forgotten book lay open in his lap, pages forgotten in favor of watching his brother. I still think it's weird that he didn't check in." Dick finally stopped pacing and flopped onto the couch, rolling over to glare at Tim. "He's been sending us updates every day throughout the entire course of the mission. Why would he stop the day before we're supposed to come in unless something bad happened?" "Todd has a distress beacon. He would have used it if he was in trouble," Damien replied, sounding bored. "He may be an imbecile most hours of the day, but he's not that dumb." "We also have his tracker, which last time I checked, is still at the warehouse he said he was checking out tonight." Tim pulled his laptop seemingly out of nowhere. "If it makes you feel any better, we can check." Dick stood up, moving to lean over the back of the armchair. As Tim pulled up the bat tracking system, Damien leaned in too, perching on one of the armrests. A map was displayed on the screen, with Dick, Tim, Damien, and Dukes' icons all displayed at the Manor. Cass and Steph were out patrolling in the city. "He should be right here," Tim typed Jason's name into the search bar. "See, he is safe and..." "Oh, that's not supposed to happen." What is it?" Dick craned his neck, placing his chin on Tim's head as the teen zoomed out to see all of Gotham. "His tracker. It isn't in Gotham," he said. "Or anywhere for that matter. He's gone off the map." Shit. Chapter 2. Jason causes problems on purpose. The Watchtower. Jason woke up suddenly to the sensation of someone touching his neck, hands sliding under the rim of his helmet, as if to unlatch it. He felt like shit, for lack of a better term, his head pounding with the telltale pressure of a concussion, which instantly put him on alert. He jerked on instinct, trying to slam his head into the person touching his neck before he could process who they were in the first place. A little too late he realized it could have been one of his siblings, but as long as it wasn't a demon child, who'd never stop complaining, they could deal with a broken nose for a few weeks. Whoa! The person reeled back quicker than a normal human would be able to, but that might just have been the concussion talking. Careful, Red Hood! So, definitely not one of his siblings. Dick would have called him Little Wing, Damien would have insulted him, and everyone else was used to simply calling him Hood or Jay. Finally, the world stopped spinning enough for him to somewhat get his bearings, and once it did, he really wanted to slip back into sweet, sweet unconsciousness. It was a real shit show. He found himself in a white-walled room, lit by blinding fluorescent lights, wrists and ankles handcuffed to a chair. A two-way mirror was on the wall to his right, a door just a bit further down. The telltale ticking of a clock could be heard, but he couldn't tell from where with the fogginess coating his brain. His ribs had been bandaged with what felt like thin, itchy gauze, but if the pain was any indication, they either hadn't bothered with pain meds, or didn't know they didn't work on him. Oh, and the person he'd nearly had butted was the Flash, who had skittered behind Superman and Wonder Woman with a nervous smile. Great. Don't touch the helmet, Jason growled, doing his best to sound threatening. It's lined with explosives. You take it off incorrectly, my head in your hands, go boom. He splayed his hands as best as he could for effect, cuffs rattling against the middle chair arms. It was an easy lie. Bruce had made him take them out the moment he found out they were in there, but it was believable enough to fool the League. If any of them caught on to that fact, they didn't show it. You really are something, Red Hood. Superman sighed, sitting down in the chair across from Jason. Look, all we need to know is the name of your associates. Why would I tell you that? Jason crooked his head to the side, leaning back in the chair casually. He needed a plan, that much was obvious. But what was he trying to achieve? What would Tim do in a situation like this? If you tell us, we can put in a good word and get your time in Arkham shortened, Wonder Woman proposed. How does that sound? Arkham? Jason breathed, mind blanking. That's where the Joker... No, he was not going there. Don't tell me you're afraid of the place. Flash stepped around the room, inspecting him from every angle. You're really tense right now, so I'll take that as a yes. Not the place, Jason grit out, forcing his body to untense as soon as Flash mentioned it. One of the residents there. Blackgate then, Wonder Woman amended, shooting Flash a withering glare. Just tell us the names. Blackgate's for sane people, Jason grinned under his mask as Wonder Woman slowly got more and more ticked off. No wonder Bruce liked it here. This was fun. I'm sure you see the problem with that. So tell me, what do I really get in return for telling you the names? What do you want? Superman shot back, placing a hand on Wonder Woman's shoulders and steering her away. Jason tipped his head back to stare at the ceiling, giving himself time to think. What did he want? Well, he wanted to get back to Gotham in one piece with his secret identity intact, the existence of his siblings unknown, and Batman as unconnected to him as possible. But how though? Keeping his siblings unknown would be easy enough on his end, he decided. Knowing them, they would do something dumb and get discovered regardless. But it's the thought that counts, or whatever the hell Tim always says whenever he claimed being knocked out coned it asleep. Simple. Stay out of Gotham until Batman's back to enforce the rule himself. Jason leveled, glaring straight into Superman's eyes, even though the older man couldn't see his face. As lovely as you seem after kidnapping me and all, I preferred Gotham when Signal was the only matter protecting it. Must not be a good vigilante if you like him. Flash shot back, and Deanna punched his arm. Oh, okay, I didn't mean it like... Jason saw green. Say that again, I fucking dare you! Jerking forward in his restraints. He felt the metal bend, still holding. They better snap soon, he wanted to punch Flash. Calm down, Jason. A different approach, then. Well, Flash, if you're going to resort to bad-mouthing other heroes to get a rise out of me, you're not much better than me, Jason said, keeping his voice light and smug. At least I respect my heroes. Yeah, well, you're a murderer, so... Flash, take a walk. Superman cut him off sternly. A feral grin spread on Jason's face. That was easier than he thought. What, man? Come on! Flash groaned, but zipped out of the room. One down, two to go. Jason let that grin leak into his voice, basically gloating in their faces. Fuck murder. This was a dozen times more cathartic. This is fun, don't you think? Let's just send him to Arkham. We're not getting anywhere with this, Wonder Woman muttered to Superman. He's toying with us. Shit. That wasn't supposed to happen. Thanks for the praise, Princess. I really do try. Jason leaned back in his chair, trying his best to seem nonchalant, despite the cold stake of dread currently pushing its way through his heart. Let's go. Superman started to remove the handcuffs and place irons on him, that Clark Kent annoyance leaking into his voice. Oh, that's not a half-bad idea. I don't know about that, Kent. Jason growled under his breath, watching with simultaneous satisfaction and fear as Superman's head whipped around, pupils glowing red for a split second and grip tightening around his wrist painfully. Wouldn't want everyone, and I mean everyone, in Arkham to know about Superman's secret identity. Would you? How? Wonder Woman said, surprise infecting her voice. Don't think I don't know yours either, Diana Prince, he continued, letting his voice take on a menacing tone, only enhanced by the mechanical nature of his helmet. I did my homework. Barry Allen, John Jones, Victor Stone, Hal Jordan, Arthur Curry. I could go on, you know. I know everything. He really didn't. Not even Bruce could find Captain Marvel's identity after all, and he'd forgotten half the League's name the second he finished his research. But his words had their intended effect, if their expression were anything to go by. We need to contact the rest of the League. Diana grabbed Clark's wrist, who clicked Jason's cuffs closed and let himself be dragged out of the room by the Amazonian. Okay, so he was definitely not getting sent to Arkham. That was good. He did get himself into a deeper pile of shit though, so maybe that wasn't the best idea? He leaned back in his chair and all but deflated as the door clicked close. That was something. As far as interrogations went, it couldn't have gone any better, but that wasn't the best when the fucking Justice League were the ones doing the interrogating. How long had it been since he was knocked out anyway? He could hear a clock in the room, but it was to his back. He surmised he must have been out at least until morning, potentially longer. Which meant he'd definitely missed the check-in, and potentially the pre-raid meetup. His siblings were probably freaking out right now. Back in Gotham. Dick was officially freaking out right now. Without Jason's intel, they had no idea where to go with the warehouse bust, so that was put on hold. In the meantime, Tim had spent a whole night combing through Jason's tracker logs, trying to find his last known location. It ended up being a pretty nondescript warehouse in the Narrows. Damien, despite his best efforts, was currently at school. Tim took a day off and called Jason in sick, though Dick didn't know the specifics of whatever lie he'd come up with to get them to give them both excused absences. So, now Dick was sitting in the alleyway outside the warehouse, while Tim was sweeping the inside passing evidence onto Barbara, and he found himself thoroughly confused. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary so far, except for two things. A human-sized dent in the outside of the warehouse next to the fire escape, and a set of skid marks in the ground leading to said dent. There were two sets of shoe prints too, one pressed deep into the mud in a way that made them easy to miss at first glance, and the second light enough that he was surprised they hadn't washed away yet. He took their measurements and a few photos, but other than that there was a suspicious amount of nothing. No tire tracks for a getaway car, footprints outside of the two pairs he'd found, not even a small blood sample. Damn the Gotham rain for making this that much harder. Nothing in here, Tim called from the roof. Everything up here got washed away by the rain. Any luck down? Dent and skid marks, both made by a human body, Dick told him, brows furrowing under his domino mask. As far as I can tell, somebody ran in and either slammed into the wall or slammed someone else into the wall. Any chance it could have been Jason? Not the skid marks. There were two sets of surviving footprints there, with one matching the width of the marks. And they weren't his size. Dick walked up to it, running his fingers around the metal for anything. And I really hope the dent wasn't him. His ribcage would have been crushed in an impact like that. You know Jason though, he is surprisingly durable. Tim jumped off the roof, landing on the fire escape railing elegantly. Honestly, at this point we should really have started classifying him as a meta. A couple weeks ago he somehow hauled himself home from across Gotham with a collapsed lung and while actively bleeding out. Tim cut himself off suddenly, leaning over to look at something on the platform. What is it, Red? Dick asked, clambering up the fire escape. Those are Jason's footprints, Tim responded, pointing to two faint boot outlines. Look, there's bits of roof grit left on the prints. Dick looked at the prints and, yeah, even from here he could spy the outline of Jason's specialized soles. The same ones that all of them had, to help with parkouring around the city, but modified to fit onto his boots. Holy shit, good catch, Timbo! Dick snapped the picture, sending it to Oracle quickly. So he jumped off the roof, landed here, and then what? Maybe he'd grappled? Dick looked towards the back wall and found exactly what he was looking for. There! He pointed. That bit of brick is missing. It's too jagged to be caused by anything other than a grapple hook. He must have tried to grapple away from the warehouse, but got slammed into the wall by someone before he could make it out of the alleyway. Tim swore under his breath. Fuck, this is bad. Oracle, you get all that? He tapped his earpiece. Dick mirrored him, Barbara's voice coming to life over the comms once he did. Got it, Tim? She said. Her voice sounded concerned. I'll send you to a few reports of criminal activity in the area last night. I don't think we'll find much, but it's worth a shot. Do you think we could get Orphan, Spoiler, and Signal to watch Gotham for a bit? This is a lot more serious than we thought, Tim replied, already sinking deep into thought. I need more coffee. Tim, no. Tim, yes. Dick facepalmed. 1 week. Bruce was going to be back in 1 week. It was going to be a long week. Thank you so much for watching this first episode of Silver Reads Jason Todd's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Week by slenderboo on an archive of our own. Don't worry, I will be covering the rest of the chapters. This fic is so good, I need to. But I just couldn't really manage it all in one video because this takes quite a while to do actually, more than I expected. But it's very fun and I hope you also enjoyed, and again, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and remember to subscribe and all that. And yeah, see you next time. Bye!